Hi everyone, it's Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you liked that little updated meme I had there in the beginning that I made. So for those who don't know, the Sims team dropped a brand new trailer today for the new stuff pack, Sims 4 Paranormal, and I am so excited for this pack. It doesn't quite have everything that I wanted it to do in my last video, but what they give us from at least what the trailer shows looks amazing. Let's jump right in. What we're going to do is watch the trailer. We're going to break it down. Like I said, as with all of my videos like this, if you haven't seen the trailer, go watch it and then come back. So what we're going to do is kind of pause it like every few seconds and break down some of the items and gameplay aspects we see and kind of speculate and go, what are we looking at? What are the vibes? We're also going to be talking a little bit about paranormal studies a little bit. You'll understand why. And then, I'll just give my final thoughts. So let's jump right into this. But here we go. Right off the back, some things I want to talk about. I know we're 3 seconds in. I'm already pausing. Just looking at some of the new items we're going to get, because this is a stuff pack. Stuff packs generally are more item based, and then with a little bit of gameplay, at least in the Sims 4. We have these new curtains. Right off the bat, just looking at them, I'm seeing they definitely have a little bit of kind of like a Louisiana, New Orleans vibe going on, so I think that's exciting. I really love this fireplace. It has such kind of a very older kind of feel, but it definitely has some kind of fun color to it, which is nice. These chairs I'm loving. I love a good chair that has these kind of like big, like nails, I guess you could call them, or tacks in them holding the upholstery down. I always think they're so beautiful. I'm loving this new item here. It looks just like, not like exactly, but very similar to one we got in Tiny Living, which I really like that item. I like this one. We have this little bird here, which we're going to see a little bit better later and talk about. I did want to talk about this. I really like this. It's definitely, I don't know, it's very artsy and craftsy. I like it. Oh, also, I mean, this hair, we're going to be able to see it a little bit better a little bit later, but I love that hair. She's spooked. Okay, so I like this. I don't know if in-game the lights will actually flicker. I'm hoping they will. From what I understand, this pack comes with a new lot type. I don't know if it's like a lot trait or a whole new lot type in general. We'll have to wait and see. I like these new light sconce, like these wall sconce. They definitely have a very specific vibe to them that I like. These hanging lights, once again, I'm getting lots of Louisiana, kind of southern vibes. I like that. This light, we'll see a bunch. I really like this light. And this new wall clutter items, once again, they have such a beautiful antique kind of look to them. They also feel very, some of them feel very like a Victorian 19th century to me, which if you've followed this channel, you know that's my vibe. We'll talk about this picture a little bit later when we see it a little bit better. Just talking about this outfit, I really like it. We have these nice kind of new pants. This hair is new. We don't see it really well in this lighting. And we have this new jacket that I also like. That doll, I don't know what her name is. Right now we'll call her Cynthia because she's a busted bitch, but I love her. And this like box she comes, I don't know if she comes with this box or if this is just another item that you can like place on top of things, almost kind of like a side table. These candles I super like. That's super nice. Ooh, that transition was super nice. All right. Now that the room has come together, once again, these lights, they definitely have a very specific feel to me. Getting that Louisiana, kind of southern, occult kind of vibes that you think of when you think of New Orleans. Loving it. This wallpaper, once again, it has such a nice Victorian feel, but it feels more southern. I really like that. Just because, especially in some of my builds, like in Willow Creek, this would be super nice, like in the Goth House, just because, yeah, this has definitely more of a regional feel. This new flooring super nice. It kind of we have some parquet flooring already in the game. We have a base game one, which is okay. It feels a little bit more 70s, or like kind of like mid-century modern. Then we have one from Vampires, which is super nice. It's a little dramatic, I think, for just any kind of build. So this feels like a nice in-between, between that kind of like more modern parquetting and that like very Vampires dark one. Once again, we get to see this little hand thing here. It reminds me of those palm reading hands that you might see. I have one somewhere around here. If you're studying hand palm reading, palm tree or whatever it's called, you definitely get those vibes. This dresser, I don't think it's a dresser. It's actually probably one of those side, like longer side tables that you put up against the wall. I like this. The furniture I'm really like, especially, this chair is going to be a fan fave of mine. Once again, this furniture, some of it has a very nice kind of 19th century Victorian feel, but with more of a southern twist on it. So I'm liking all that. This furniture here, I like it all. What I like here too is, so a lot of the furniture, like the kind of like Victorian furniture and items we have, most of those items come from either Vampires, or Realm of Magic, or Strangerville. Strangerville didn't really come with all furniture, but came with those really beautiful windows. But yeah, so if you're making kind of like a Victorian house, you're probably using aspects from those packs. And I'll say, Vampires definitely leads more into like the creepy, spooky side, kind of like what we think of now when we think of Victorian mansions. I think the Realm of Magic stuff definitely leans more into like the Art Nouveau kind of crafty, more earthy, beautiful side of Victorian. And, you can definitely mix and match those two, but they don't really go well together. I definitely think the furniture we're seeing here can be mixed and matched with that. Like, you could definitely put this chair in a Vampires build and maybe like a darker swatch, but you could definitely put this also maybe in a lighter swatch, or even this swatch in a kind of spellcaster home, and it would work. So I'm really liking that. Another thing, I know I've mentioned this before, but I really like how southern, like it definitely has more of like a southern aesthetic. Yeah, so new lot type. This makes me think it's probably more of a, when you're in build mode and you can make a residential or a tiny home, a rental lot, or, what have you. So this definitely makes me feel like this is going to be under that. I wonder if you can live there. That's what I'm interested to know, if it's a lot you can only travel to. I'm hoping you can live in it. I'm loving this kind of image of like a haunted house. It's definitely like a very traditional Victorian, so I love that. This little jar with the ghost is super cute. This trailer is very dark. Ooh, go back. Ooh, not you, sir. So, this is a base game wallpaper. This hanging plant looks new. I love hanging plants. I really didn't love all of the ones we got with Nifty Knitting. They were just a little too crafty grandma for my vibe. So I'm definitely happy about this. Got another ghost in a jar. We have these little ghosts just flying around. We'll talk a little bit later about what I think the ghost gameplay is going to feature. But yeah, we have this nice new rug, this chair here. I really like this chair. It's definitely a little bit more modern for my like personal aesthetic, but it's super nice. This here makes me definitely feel like they're pulling a lot of vibes also, or inspiration from voodoo and African like hoodoo traditions. If you ever watched my a video where I talked about like occults that I would like to see in The Sims 4, I talk about like zombies, and I talk a little bit about like that voodoo heritage and how that plays into like our idea of zombies, because zombies, a hoodoo, it's like a Haitian word. I definitely like, because in Louisiana there's definitely that big kind of pull for a lot of people to go there to kind of like engage with like that voodoo heritage. I will say if you go to Louisiana, they're a lot less sensationalist about it from what I understand than like, let's say if you go to Salem. If you go to Salem, Massachusetts, they're all about that kind of like witchy heritage, witchy aesthetic. They really like go into like what is witchy, what isn't, or they really like to profit off of that, and they really like to like hype it up. You know, they don't talk about like, you can definitely go to like the museums and go on tours where they talk about like the actual history and they talk about like the actual facts. However, there's also a lot of like witchy stores, and you can go on tours where they talk about like what the witches were doing. Like there's definitely kind of like a sensationalist side to it. If you go to Louisiana, from what I've been told from people who've gone there and done the tours, they say it's definitely a little bit more respectful, and they actually talk about the actual history behind voodoo and kind of like the aspects of it that maybe aren't super sensationalized or able to sensationalize, or they even talk about some of the truths like voodoo dolls. There's this idea that voodoo dolls, you know, you like use them to like cause pain to people. Historically, voodoo dolls are actually more like medical records. So, you know, early in the 20th century, many people couldn't read, and, you know, many doctors, you know, especially in kind of those black parts of Louisiana and New Orleans, where they would be, you know, mostly black people who weren't formally educated, they would use the voodoo doll almost as a way as like a medical record, and they would use pins to poke like where on the doll would it correspond with like the pain. So like if you went to a doctor and you're like, hey, I'm having pain like in my abdomen, so they would put like a needle there, do some treatments on you, and then a few months later or a year later when you come back, they pull out, you know, your doll and they look and like, oh, are you still having stomach pains? So that's kind of like the true history behind voodoo dolls. But I do like that they're pulling, even if they're doing more of like a sensationalist kind of like spooky kind of twist on it, I do like that they're paying homage to it instead of just like ignoring it. I like this little guy. I like these hand things. That's super interesting. Kind of creepy. We don't have too much landscaping. We have these weird hand things though. Inside here, there's not too many new items. We can see the hand a little bit better, which once again makes me think it's a palm reading hand. There's a little picture thing here. I think we can see a better picture of it later, but I like the difference between the ghosts. We have some like angry little ones and some cute little ones. I'm wondering if she's possessed or doing some kind of like medium ghosty thing. So this pack comes with a few different new paintings. I wonder if they're all in the same frame or if this one might be separate. There seems to be like a game pack aspect where you can use this to summon a specific ghost who can help you like hone your like medium skills and will help you like, you know, perform seances and help like exorcise ghosts from the house. I wonder if it works kind of like the what's it called, the tragic clown painting, where you like look at it and then the clown shows up and it's like, I'm sad. So I wonder if it's like that, if you have to like interact with it to make him appear, or if like if you're just like on the right lot, he'll just be like, hey, oh, I want this to go away, I want to look at the bird a little bit better. Hopefully we'll see a little bit better later. But yeah, you see that's him. I forget his specific name. He's a very French sounding name, very southern. These lights are so interesting. I don't know if I'll use them a lot, but they're really cool. I was so hoping for a seance table. It works definitely more like, I think, how you would think in like supernatural things to work. I was definitely wondering if it was gonna, if you watched my last video, if it was gonna be more like the Fox sisters, where it was like tricks and tips, or if it was like an actual seance table, and they're definitely going more to that like supernatural kind of realm, which I do like. Here's the ghost just flutting about. They definitely have kind of like a almost like Ghostbusters vibe while being super cute. Yeah, you see the hand a little bit better. Another little voodoo-y thing. We saw her. We saw the girl. There's the palm tree hand. These like weird jar candies. Bonehilda heading to go clean up the mess. It's Don Lothario. So let's look at some of these items. We have this new chest thing, which I think is probably just a side table. I don't think it'll have any kind of like gameplay purpose, but it is super nice. This rug, this cow plant, and like a terrarium. Hopefully you can't kill it like the ones in the game. The seance table, that's beautiful. The fireplace, these lights. That palm tree, which we saw earlier, which is super nice. Here's a little bit look at some of the new outfits we have. It looks like we're getting some kid outfits. We love it. EA said kids deserve ghosts, I guess. Once again, this look definitely has a very kind of southern vibe, which really does fit the overall pack. And it kind of, once again, strikes a nice equal, like kind of like middle ground between like your everyday wear and like vampires, because the stuff in vampires I think it's super well made, but you can't really wear it every day. Like you probably could have your Sims wear it every day, but like they're gonna stand out. Maybe that's what they want. I'm not here to judge. This definitely has more of a nice kind of, I don't know, kind of nice little, like a little bit more modern, but still kind of like spooky. If you also want to do some kind of like pirate gameplay, you could probably use the pants for that. Ooh, that hat's nice. Ooh, here's some more. These look like gameplay items almost, but not really. I don't know. So we see the hands, some kind of thorn thing, the haunted doll thing, this kind of like African voodoo inspired doll thing. Maybe it's just a statue. So this bird here, there's not a lot of good looks at it in the game trailer, but so this little birdie here definitely has kind of like a Egyptian vibe to it, which I think makes sense because this is very like esoteric kind of supernatural vibes, and definitely in the 19th century Egypt was definitely like very like especially ancient Egypt was very like sensationalized, being like esoteric, magical. So I do like to see those little like nods to history, and I do think the item looks quite nice. A lot of these items look really good for like if you're trying to, you know, maybe spruce up your like spellcaster house or your vampire house, or even if you're just trying to make a normal kind of like haunted house. So I do like all of that. It's coming in 2 weeks. I wish it was coming next week, but we'll accept it. So you can head over to the Sims website. They have a few blog posts. I really like this one. It has a little bit more. There's a first one that you can go to that has some things that we'll talk about, but there's like less text, and I want as much details as we can get. So welcome to your Sims new home. Sure, the listing said haunted, but everyone knows that's just a myth. Why would you believe it? At night, though, well, the lights flicker overhead, casting shadows at your Sim's feet. In another room, a door slams shut, even though no one else is home. And what was that sound? Where is it coming from? This is getting weird. So from this here, I wonder, I hope lights do flicker and I hope doors do slam. I think that will add a lot of fun gameplay. This also is going to go into the next point I'll make, where we talk about what I think these kind of ghosts are inspired by. So it turns out there are some rumors that turn out to be true. These spooky specters moved in first, and they won't let anyone else forget it. So we got this little scene here. Mysterious runes and clay hands appear randomly while crawling veins sprout in the yard. The sacred candle your sim lit for safety blows out barely a wisp of smoke. So, love that. One thing I wonder if that light you'll put will actually like interact with the ghosts. I wonder if any candles can, but I'd be fine if it's just that one. And no one else knows, and no one knows where that horrifying doll came from. Agreed. Who is she? What does she want? As the house gets weirder and weirder, goosebumps rise and scared Sims scatter in a panic-induced terror. Luckily, your Sim doesn't have to deal with this alone. There's one helpful friend who's happy to help. Claude René Duplantier Guidry, the ghost. What a French name. This somewhat flirty aspiration offers the secrets to serenity. Under his tutelage, learn how to appease the specters, ruining a good night's sleep. Some specters are playful, others are mischievous, and some are downright ordinarier. Totally butchered that word, sorry. If they leave accursed objects behind, try to tidy up and remove them. Offer guests an attempt to communicating with specters and try to please them. If they're satisfied, Sims might try to get a present in return as the specter fades away. Otherwise, it's time to turn to the seance table. I love this great little image. Seances serve as a way to communicate with the world beyond. Perform a seance to sense the mood of specters, commune with the dead, or complete a ghastly ritual. Plus, Sims can summon Guidry for extra help or summon Bonehilda, the skeletal maid, for a spot of cleaning. Doing so builds a Sim's medium skill. Do be careful not to go ghost yourself, though. Once the Sim overcomes their fears, restores balance to the home, and masters the paranormal, Guidry the Ghost presents a coveted Paranormal Investigator license. Basically, your Sim can become a ghost hunter. No, ghost tracker, ghost ... buster? You ain't afraid of no ghost, right? Pick up gigs as a freelance paranormal investigator to help other Sims experiencing haunting phenomena and make a few simoleons while you're at it. This other post here has less, but has some stuff. Meet ghastly roommates. Your new to you home might be a home to someone else too. If it's one of the new haunted house lots, appease mischievous specters and relax in serenity, or let them run amok for scares day and night. Cleanse your home. If you want to send your new roommates packing, Guidry the Ghost is happy to advise you. Remove accursed objects, perform a seance, commune with the dead, and receive gifts from specters. You can even summon Bonehilda the Skeleton Maid. I'm wondering if you have to use the seance table or something, or if we're going to get like in the past games where you get like a coffin that you keep in your house. I'm hoping it's the coffin because it is quite iconic. Master the medium skill and impress Guidry to get a Paranormal Investigator license. Once you're ready, take on some freelance gigs to expel unwelcome visitors from other Sims. With spooky activity on the rise, it's up to your Sim to put a stop to it. The ghosts in this pack, so to me, I think the reason they look the way they do, this kind of like cutesy gootsy, where are they? More like this is one, I think there's definitely a heavy inspiration from Ghostbusters, but I also think it has to do with the type of haunting. So this is definitely not like a great website because I hate to say it, a lot of paranormal investigators or scholars I think are kind of bad. But you know, among most kind of like is sometimes called demonologists, we'll talk about there's definitely different types of hauntings. The ghosts we have in the game currently, I would say are kind of more under the intelligent or interactive activity haunting. And these are just kind of like when your sim dies, the soul may remain, and they're aware they're a ghost. And that's what we have currently in the game. That is like the basic level ghost. There also, there's other type of ghosts that we don't really see in the game. Like we don't really see like residual hauntings, and this is kind of like believed to be caused by when a person dies a very like gruesome or traumatic death. They kind of like imprint, is a thought, onto the like area, and these ghosts aren't intelligent. They won't interact with people. They just kind of like go through the same motions they may have done when they're alive or when they were leading up to their death. They don't quite understand that they're dead. I believe the ghosts we're getting, the kind of like new ones, I think follow more under like poltergeist activity, and this is a like idea where it's not really a specific ghost, but maybe it could be a few more. Poltergeist is a German word meaning noisy spirits. The activity takes place and will start off with knocks and bangs, furniture starting to move. Essentially, they're kind of more like mischievous, if you will. If any of you have seen the movie Poltergeist, you'll kind of understand like how those ghosts work. And I think that's why they're visually different and kind of come in these different forms. And as the blog post talks about, there's like different, some are like mischievous, some are fun, some are more, that. So there's definitely kind of like this idea visually going on, trying to separate them. With that said, though, I think this pack is really only going to focus on like the poltergeist and not really talk about or deal with other ghost types. So I'm hoping that the update before the game comes with some kind of, I don't know, maybe update to ghosts. I don't think ghosts in the game need a super overhaul, but I think it'd be nice if they, maybe we could create them in Create a Sim, or if we could, I don't know, have the ability to be able to give them a few more options. I don't know. I don't think they'll probably get like a major revamp, but I have a feeling they'll probably get some kind of, some kind of update. As minor as it will be. So I think the gameplay will just kind of focus around these ghosts. Like if Judith Ward dies on your lot and like her gravestone's there and she's like bippity bopping around your house, I don't think this pack will like focus on how to get rid of her, but more of these kind of like poltergeist kind of ghosts, which in some ways a little disappointing, but I think it also makes sense for the gameplay. And like I said, I'm still hoping that we'll get some kind of update. Oh, I love this crystal ball thing. Oh, you can see this looks like a new hair. This is like a mullet. Loving it, loving it, loving it. So I'm excited to see where this pack goes, and I'm super excited just to play it. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry I rambled a little, and I'll see you in the next one.